besides being like a dream come true job for me, because I
Yeah.
love to train, I love to write, was becoming good friends with both Steve Smith and Neil Peart, who were my, Neil, of course, I worshiped Neil as a kid,
Sure.
uh, and he was my hero. So,
Yeah.
so getting back to, your question, I had been working with Hudson for a couple of years, and I knew that they were friends with Neil. They had already done his previous projects, but know Neil. I'm a big enough fan to know his privacy and
Yep.
how reclusive he is, and so
Yes.
I never even mentioned his name. I was like, you know what? I mean, even if they do, even if they were to do a project with him, they certainly wouldn't let Fanboy near him,
Right. Right. Yeah.
And happily, I turned out to be extremely wrong about that.
Yeah.
So Neil expressed interest in doing a project,
Mm.
and basically, I wrote proposals for him, and then in a series of degrees, I was brought closer to him to where eventually he was okay. I'll meet with him and see if I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
And over the course of time, I think like when I first met him, I finally took my old man's advice for one day in my life. Uh, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to be speak and remove all doubt. Uh, so yeah, so we hit it off, and he was comfortable, and we wound up working on the DVD.
Mm.
And the thing I love about the DVD is that I got to sit with Neil and ask him about all those classic drum parts
Yeah.
all throughout his whole career.
Wow.
I'm a huge fan of them, and a lot of the guys my age, they kind of drop off after the album Signals or something, Voice Under Pressure. I actually am a fan of all of that. I was in a Rush cover band for 10 years.
Wow. Great.
So yeah, so we when Neil wrote his story about working on the DVD, he said when actually mentions me in one of his books, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like kind of like you're part of the story that you've been reading since
Right.
you were a little kid.
Yeah. That
Which
must.
is yeah, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And he wrote in there. So they introduced me to this young editor who plays on Broadway, and his name's Joe, and he has how did he put it? He has a frightening degree of familiarity with my work, or something.
So he felt the fanboy coming out as well.
Well, you know what? The thing that's really cool that I found out about Neil, and is that he actually really loves that people appreciate his work.
Sure.
Like he totally I'm a pro drummer now. I do a lot of different things, and I just happen to really enjoy his work. I know it quite well.
Yeah.
I get off the bus at all I'm not like a fan worshiper. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't care what his favorite color is. I could care less. I just like his work.
Right.
And so happily, he's a terrific guy. He's very private.
Yeah.
But he's just as smart as everybody thinks, and he's just
Right.
as cool as you might think, and he's super nice, and he's very accommodating when he decides to work on something.
Yeah.
He won't do something unless he can do it 110%.
Yeah.
And so getting to do the video with him and the book with him was like pretty much a dream come true. So.